Hey guys, it's Amy. I'm back again. Today we're going to be talking about naming. So we're going to be naming our lines, line segments, rays, and it's going to be fun. So before we get started, I just want to say if you don't understand what all of those terms mean, go ahead and go back to my last video. I explain all of those things pretty in depth. So go ahead and click on that and hopefully it'll be helpful to you. And also, if you're enjoying these free tutoring sessions, if they're helpful to you in any way, please like these videos and subscribe so that I can continue making these videos for you, because I'm really enjoying this and I hope that you all are getting something out of it. Okay, so let's get started. Now, before we get started on naming individual lines and rays and all of that, I kind of want to show you how this whole naming thing works. So I want to direct your attention over here, right to this thing. Now, this is typically how every naming convention is going to look, and it has two parts. So the first part is at the top, and the thing at the top is going to tell you what it is that you're talking about before you even go any further. So it's going to tell you if it's a line, if it's a line segment, if it's array, and here we can see that this is a line, okay? So a line is going to be denoted like this, the same way that one is. A line segment is going to be denoted like this. And a ray is going to be denoted like this. Okay? So, like I said, before you even have seen whatever it is they're talking about, just by seeing the name, you're going to be able to tell what it is that they're talking about. Now down here, where you see the AB, that's going to tell you the name of it. So here, we can see from the top, it's a line. Here, let me label this. So this is line, this is segment, line segment, and then this is array. Okay, so here we can see that this is a line, and it's line AB. That's how we would go about saying that. And hopefully that makes sense. If you are thinking about it, the way that I kind of think about it is you go to the pet store, and you walk into the pet store, and everybody, they have their signs above the cage. So it'll be like, oh, these are the fish. Oh, these are the frogs. Oh, these are the dogs, okay? So you don't know the names of these individual things, but you know if you want a frog, then you go to the sign that it says, that says frog, and then you'll get to see the individual frogs, and they'll be like, oh, this is Harry the frog, or whatever it is. That's exactly what this is. The top is the sign telling you what it is, and then the bottom is telling you the name. Okay, so another interesting thing about naming is that the same line segment, plane, we can be talking about the same area, but it can have like 5 different names. And that's why understanding naming is so important, because you want to understand what point or area or plane or whatever, you want to know what exactly they're talking about. And the second thing that's going to be important is knowing what another name for that same area could be. So those are the 2 things we want to understand in naming: what it is that they're talking about, and what else could this thing be called. So the first thing we're going to talk about is rays. So before I even go into naming, we already know at the top we're going to have this, because that represents a ray. Now, your ray, if you watched my last video, you saw me talk about rays that could go this way, or rays that could go this way. Regardless of the direction of the ray, your arrow, when you're naming it, is always going to look like this. The only thing that you'll do is switch the letters. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So say we're talking about the ray, we'll just do this one, A to C. So it's starting at point A, and it's going to go towards point C, but it's never going to end. So that we would call that A, C. So that would be ray AC. Now you're also noticing, just like this ray right here is saying there's a point right there, and here's the arrow, your point is always going to go first. So that's why we had A, and then it's going to go this way to our C, where our arrow is, okay? Now, another name, so, and that's going to be this area right here. It's never going to end. Another name for that area would also be array. And we're going to start at the same point. In order for it to be the same area, we have to start at the same point. So we're going to have A, but AB is also the same ray. Now, that might sound confusing, so let's just take a pause and explain why this is. Now, you might be looking at this and say, okay, well, A and C is not the same as A and B. And that's true. But if you said that, you would be talking about line segments, because line segments have 2 points on them. And these are not 2 points. This is, remember, denoted at the top, a point and an arrow. So all we're doing, we're only naming 1 point, and in both instances we've named it C. And then in order to label our array, we have to say another point that's on the line. And B is on the line that is going into infinity, and C is also on the line that is going to infinity. So that is why we're not talking about this, and we're not talking about this. Those are line segments. We are talking about this. So if there was a point D here, we would also be able to say AD. Why? Because this is the same line going this way. Okay? Okay, so now let's talk about this ray. Again, it's a point, and it is going on to infinity. So again, we do our little cheat code thing. We already know it's going to be a ray. And the first letter we're going to put is the point, and the point is B. Now, next, we get to choose. Because the arrow is going to go on forever, all we have to do is pick a point that's going in that direction to label our array. So we can do BC, or we do the same thing, B is our point, but we also have a D that's on the same line that's going on to infinity. Okay, and if this is confusing, think of it like this. And I really had to reach hard for this analogy, so just hang with me. So, remember last time I was telling you that a ray is like if somebody was like, turn right and keep walking forever. Okay? That's a ray. So, if we're labeling it, it would be like somebody saying, turn right, you're going to pass the old gas station and keep going right. Okay? So you're going to keep going right, but they're telling you a landmark that you're going to pass along the way, the old gas station. Now, if the old gas station was 2 blocks from the library, but it was still on the same path towards the right, you could still say, turn right, you're gonna pass the library. Because that's still the same path. Sure, they told you that you're gonna pass something different, but it doesn't matter because you're gonna pass both, because this path that you're taking, you're gonna keep taking. So that's why the naming works this way. And I hope that makes sense to you. If not, let me know in the comments below. Alright. Another thing I talked about last time was opposite rays. So right here you can see I did that. The B ray, the BC or the BD, it's going this way. So the opposite of that would be a ray going this way. And I want to kind of show you what that would look like. So label it opposite ray. So the BC ray is going this way. This ray is going this way. So we're still, like I told you, the arrow is always going to be like this for the ray. And then it's still the same. We're always going to start with our point. So our point is still going to be B. But we're going this way now. So what point are we going to pass on the way, on this line? We're going to pass the A. So BA would be the opposite ray of this BC. Alright, the next thing we're going to talk about is lines, naming lines. Now, naming a line is pretty easy because you can pick, whatever you want to name the line. So, okay. So, for our line, we have our little cheat code at the top that always is going to denote a line. Now, what we need to do is pick 2 points from the line. Any 2 points. So, I'll pick AB. Well, guess what? That's equal to AC. Well, guess what? That's equal to CD. They're all equal because they're all going on forever in any direction. So as long as we pick 2 points on this, it's the same line. So lines are pretty easy to name. Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about is line segments. Line segments, the top of it is just going to be denoted by a straight line. Now, if we are going to want to talk about this area, A and B, we're just going to name it by these 2 points, A, B. Now, the area between AB is the same as the area between BA. So those are both equal. Those are both acceptable names for this line segment. Now, you couldn't say that this is equal, so this is not equal to AC, because AC is all of this, and that's not what we want. We only want the area between these points, okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. Alright, so that's how we're going to name our line segments. And the last thing I want to talk about is planes. So this is how a plane would look. Now, a plane is a little different in the naming convention because you start by writing plane. So this little letter here is the name of a plane. So we could call it plane T. Or we could also call it plane. And then a plane, remember, is any 3 points that are not on the same line. So we could call this plane and then pick 3 points, CDE, which is also equal to plane ECD, which is also equal to plane DEC. You get the point. But all of these are talking about the same plane. Well, guys, that's all I have for today. I hope that made sense. Like I said, it's important to know what it is that we're talking about when you see a name of something, and it's also important to know what else could have that same name. So if you want to do some exercises with this, we're going to be doing that in my next video. Just go ahead and click that link. And guys, if you're liking the free tutoring and hopefully it's helpful to you, please click the like button and please click the subscribe button so that I can keep making these videos for you. Thanks so much. Bye, guys.